I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
And this is To Bid You Farewell
Opeth.
by the band Opeth. For timely topical political commentary, you can hit us up at Middle America with Vin and Sori. And it's for Julian.
Well, I always like to say it at the beginning, right when we announce the song, who is the one that, requested it. So I usually end up jumping into your...
Brought to you by Julian. We've got a new star on Middle America, DL Beluga. I might change the actual title of the thing itself, but we'll see. We'll see if Mr. Beluga earns his stripes. So there's that. Now, if you, dear listener, would like your song reviewed and would like a nice little brought to you by, as you see here.
You can also dedicate the song to somebody. There's lots of things you can do.
Right, dedicated by, or this song
dedicated
is for.
to, happy birthday so-and-so.
Yeah, but if it's a song about killing people or something like that, we're not going to put dedicated to on it.
Or if it's a breakup song and you're putting it out there for your girlfriend.
Well, that I would do. I would do that shit.
You're so terrible.
I would absolutely do that. But a song where I'm going to slit your throat and blah, 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 I'm not going to dedicate that to anybody. Right. But the breakup thing, I absolutely would do it. Make sure it's on your anniversary.
Wow.
Okay, so there's that. They had this horrible show in New York City where, I think it was on K-Rock, dudes would call to break up with their girlfriends or boyfriends, over the radio. And one guy was like, yo, it's our anniversary. He's like, holy moly. So they did it, and they broke. It was horrible. It was great. It was great. Great stuff.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, nobody really. People were like, hey, you joking? You must be joking. He's like, nah, yo, we're done. They had no idea they were on the radio. Shout out to K-Rock. If you dare listen to your song reviewed, $125 takes you straight to the head of the line. You do that 3 times, you get bumped down 3 times. Who gave us this one?
This is Julian, and yes, he's at the 75.
This is Julian. Julian's definitely at $75 rate. Or you could join the Patreon $1 tier, where you get to get clanned up. You get ganged up with an alliance, and then they can help us determine what songs we review. But without further ado, here is Opeth, I Bid Thee Farewell. Let's go. What are you doing with my lyrics?
I just wanted to see if there was a video that went with it.
songs, I said, you gotta be patient. You gotta be patient. And I was waiting for like the, when is it gonna go?
This one, it's funny because usually Opeth songs you're not a fan of, and I do like them. This one, it was a slow burner. You had to sit with it and you had to wait because like the beginning, the intro there, it was like I was like really feeling it, and then it was like going on. I'm like, when are we gonna? I want to hear these lyrics.
Yeah, it wasn't an intro. That was the song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
I think it's a myth. I think it's a
song.
myth on the channel that I don't like Opeth.
That's a myth.
Yeah, like if we went to Kai and he chronicled my average score for Opeth, it's probably going to be like a 9 or something.
What?
Like
Kai, let us know.
The first Opeth song we listened to had, I don't know, 2 minutes of music that I just didn't think should be there.
I just didn't understand how you couldn't have liked Harlequin Forest.
Yeah, it was
so bizarre.
Harlequin Forest. And
you didn't like the ending.
I said a lot of good things about Harlequin Forest.
But you didn't really like it.
And then the end was just horrible. You know,
wrong.
It was going there for 2 minutes.
It was the heartbeat.
So like I didn't like one song. So then all this mythology was built on the channel about how I hate Opeth. But I'm pretty sure I've scored these guys pretty high.
Well,
for the vast majority of the time. But this is what she does. One thing is completely universalized.
Well.
So yeah, I mean I'm sure if Kai did it, I probably have like a 9.3 or 4 average with Opeth.
Maybe.
So there's that.
We don't know that right now, so.
Yeah, so it's not that I hate Opeth. It's just that that particular song at the end was a minute too long and it was unnecessary. And even the Opeth fans were saying that. They're like,
I liked it. Yeah. But there was like in this song, there was like so the beginning it kind of was like, but you had to just sit with it. Like that's the thing that I find about not all of the Opeth songs, but there are a lot of them where I feel like you have to exercise that discipline to just embrace the sound and the length and just go with it and then let it, feel it and experience it and, so that's what I did and I really enjoyed it. And I was very curious when the vocals were going to kick in. I'm like, what kind of vocals are they going to go with?
These guys, like how long was the song? It was like
11 minutes.
It was 11 minutes? Holy moly, I thought it was a 7-minute song. It didn't feel like 11 minutes to me. I liked the acoustic side of it. It took me like about three and a half. Too. After about 3.5 and 4 minutes, I'm like, this is not an introduction. This is the song. Then I came to accept that there wasn't going to be any electric, and then. But then it did. And I was like, holy moly.
Yep.
But a lot of times it's like it's just based on the expectation that you have of the band. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's not. So you just expect these guys are a metal band. They're eventually gonna get heavy somewhere. But it never happened. This though is a relationship song. That's for sure.
Yeah. Is it a breakup song?
I don't know if it's a breakup song or if
what are the chances you would have said that at the beginning of this review?
Or if the person is dead. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not sure because Opeth kind of has like some. Pretty strange worlds, and they tell certain types of stories. They're not always true to life.
Yeah, maybe you're right. She wept and whispered, "I know." Well, what does she know?
Yeah, but
we walked into the night.
He's talking about the shadows and all this, and then the previous song, "Black Rose Immortal," because I was looking at the Black Rose Immortal lyrics too, and it looks like. This girl died, and then the guy basically makes a deal with the devil to try to get back to her, and then you have this song right after it. So it looked to me, and that Black Rose Immortal song, Black Rose Immortal song went for like 20 minutes, bro.
What?
I was like, holy moly! Go ahead. What were you saying?
I am awaiting the sunrise. Usually, it's at night that they expect them, gazing modestly through the coldest morning. Once it came, you lied. Oh.
Embracing us.
So maybe he's saying she was supposed to be there that night.
Right. Or maybe she was going to be there in the morning or whatever, but she wasn't going to be there in the
morning.
No,
once it came, that's...
the sunrise. I'm assuming the it there is the sunrise.
Right, and that he realized it was a lie when sunrise came and she wasn't there.
Right. Your voice and I cannot hear as I'm falling again. So like maybe this is, you know, the previous song, Rose Immortal or Black Rose Eternal or whatever, was like him not being able to accept the death of this person, and then this song is, you know, accepting it and letting the person go.
Devotion eludes, and in sadness I lumber in my own ashes. What do you think that means, in his own ashes?
Well, that again to me would imply that she was dead. So the ash, a lot of times like ashes rhetorically in art is kind of used as like the ruins of something. Like something is like ruined and irredeemable. Yeah. Because, you know, if you like, if a car rams into your house, like, you can reorganize the wood and the steel or whatever to bring your, but if your house turns to ash, there's no way of redeeming the house.
Right.
So I think ash then functions to talk about like a person being, you know, irretrievably broken.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. In my own ashes, I am standing without a soul.
Yeah. And he was just in the rain, so that's a pretty crazy picture. You know, I stand motionless in a parade of falling rain. Your voice I cannot hear. So devotion eludes, and in sadness I slumber. Yeah, I mean that's a yikes.
That's sad.
So he's falling like the rain, basically. We walked into the night, am I to bid you farewell? This is why that the sunrise kind of becomes the bad guy at the beginning, because when they were together in the night. Am I to bid you farewell? Why can't you see that I try when every shed I tear is for you? So that last part, I don't know, maybe that's an untied shoestring. Maybe the person died before they were able to, he was able to say everything he needed to say to Shorty. And so, you know, why can't you see? But I think that that's like a big thing in relationships, though, is that, you know, I think when you're first with somebody, there's a certain type of assumption of things or a certain type of appreciation of things, like, oh, this person got me a card, or this or this that, and then after a while, like, those things get, you know, you get used to it.
Sorry, I didn't know you were sitting there. Thank you.
After a while, you get used to it, and you know, those things aren't special anymore, and then it becomes, it's this weird thing when people go, oh, you used to love me, you used to do X, Y, and Z. Yeah, but you used to appreciate little things and then count those as love. So it's this very strange dichotomy where the bar keeps getting raised. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I just think it's human nature. The bar keeps getting raised, and for what it means to love a person or to show affection. And, you know, the other stuff that would have been accounted as, oh, this is good, this is a loving thing to do, that, you know, doesn't really get accounted out.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. I think, though, that in most relationships, that people stop doing those little things that they did. So, you know, the notes or the letters or the, you know, flowers, or, you know, I see posts all the time with, you know, these big bouquets of flowers, and girls are like, there's still girls here that appreciate a bouquet of flowers, and all the girls are usually like, absolutely, yes, obviously, you know. So I think that
I was never a flower guy,
clearly. So I think that it depends on the relationship, but I think a lot of times that's the complaint, is that people stop doing the things that they did.
Yeah, but even yesterday we were in the car and we were doing one of the songs, and you're like, you've written a lot of songs about me. And I was like, yeah. You know,
it was very romantic.
You know what I mean? So, but, you know, like, you generally do not characterize me as being a romantic person, but I've written like 4 of my best songs, and you were the subject, you were the muse. So that, you know, and so I was like, oh, okay, well, it's good that you recognize that. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not like you've written songs for me. You know what I'm saying? So, like, to me, it's, I get what you're saying, but I think this works both ways with men and women. Like, with men, you know, like, when, you know, she first dressed up or whatever to go somewhere, you were like, oh, you know, wow, blah, blah, blah. And now, like, you're used to it. I mean, I think you're an exception because you're just, you know, naturally very beautiful. I'm saying outside of you, like dudes just get used to a certain thing, and then the girl's gotta continue to do X, Y, and Z to her hair and her body to continue to get that same type of reaction, because the goalpost keeps moving the longer that you're with a person.
Yeah.
So I think that those things like happen in relationships on both ends, and then it becomes this weird sort of dynamic where you constantly have to keep proving yourself. And I just don't think that that's healthy for her. I don't think that's healthy for a relationship. But I also don't think it's healthy for a relationship for, like, if you were a note guy at the beginning of a relationship, you need to be a note guy, you know, at minimum for the rest of the relationship, right? Like, you can't be a note guy at the beginning and then, like, you got the girl, now you don't have to be a note guy anymore, because then it, like, communicates something like, oh, you were just trying out, or you were just auditioning or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, and I agree with that. I think, though, that, I don't know, like, if let's say you're a note person, the reason that you wrote the notes was because you felt inspired to write them, and relationships go through cycles. So perhaps you're not, you know, but maybe that's why you said you don't have to put one every single day. Like, you know, if you keep going with the relationship, it'll cycle back around and you'll have you might feel inspired. Maybe not this month, but maybe 4 months from now you would feel inspired. So maybe, you know.
Well, let me give you an example, right? Because, like, what you win them with is what you win them to. So there's a lot of dudes who are not note people, but will go and Google, how do you impress a girl? Write her a note, get her roses. So then he goes and does all that shit. Well, that's not who he is. That's just because he Googled and that's the way to get the girl, and he wanted the girl, so blah. And now, you know, she's looking at it like, oh, this is a really sweet dude, blah, blah, blah. She doesn't know that he's not a note guy and that he just went and frantically Googled that. She doesn't know that. She thinks that that's who the dude is. So 2 years down the line, there's no reason for him to Google how to get the girl, because he got the girl. So I just think that, you know, like, and that's why I never did any of that type of stuff, because I was, you know, I'm like, 3 or 4 years from now, I'm not going to do that. I mean, 3 or 4 years from now, I'll probably write another song about you, for sure, because that's who I am. But like, for example, you know, when we were first whatever, I would go and, like, buy you a Red Bull or something like that. And you'd be like, oh my God, that's so sweet that you would do that. You don't want anything in return, blah, blah, blah. And that's just who I am. You know, I'm generally pretty generous with money. And so you're, you know, oh, let's get a Red Bull, okay, blah. And like, you know, I didn't have a thought of saying, hey, you need to repay me and whatever for this Red Bull. That's just who I am. But, like, that's not a thing anymore. Like, we're married, so obviously, like, if I go to a 7-Eleven, like yesterday, I tried to get you a banana last night because you were, you know, you needed the milk or whatever. So she runs up to me, she's like, yo, it's like 1:30 in the morning. She's like,
it was later than that. I think it was 2:30 in the morning.
She's like, I need some milk. And you know, it's funny, like, I don't remember a lot of conversations with my dad, but I don't know what the specific thing was, but he talked about when my mom was pregnant with me, my parents were broken up pretty soon after I was born. But how she would have these crazy cravings at night, and how he'd have to get up out of bed. You know, he had work the next morning, but he'd have to get out of bed and get these whatever for my mom because she had these crazy cravings. So that always stuck with me. So, like, that's always been my policy. Like, anytime pregnant girl asks me for something, I'm gonna go get it. So it was like, I'm gonna say it's 1:30, maybe it's 2 o'clock in the morning. So we're out there, and then she's like, yo, I want a banana, and she starts giving me the description of this banana. You wanted milk because you wanted a peanut butter sandwich?
Yeah, because because I'm a diabetic during pregnancy, it has to be also specific. And if I have peanut butter, it's so thick, I love to have milk with it. So, and if it was just for me, I would have just drank water, but the baby needs milk in the morning, and the kids want milk with their cereal, so it was kind of like everybody needed it. So, but I didn't present it to you that way. I was like, because usually when there's something like that, I'll be like, listen, the kids need milk, the baby needs milk, instead of saying, like, I want to go get milk for me. Yes. So I brought up this time, I was like, I need milk.
Yeah, you need to get the milk. So, and then, you know,
pulling up, and I'm like, can you get me a banana while you're in there? Because usually Irving will have good bananas. I'm like, but I don't like any brown spots on my bananas.
Yeah. So I went there. There was no bananas, but I know that she likes chocolate fudge, whatever ice cream or whatever. So I'm like, I didn't get the banana, but I did get you the chocolate fudge ice cream, which you said, oh, thank you, blah, blah, blah. So, but that's not something like I tried to do. Like, I've always been like that with you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But, so like, if it was back in the day and I couldn't have got you a banana, but I got you, you would have made a huge, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. But now, there's no huge deal because, we're married. So you're not really seeing it as special as it was before. So the goalpost now changes. And I don't think it's fair or unfair. I just think it's human nature. Like, we've been together for 3 years. What are you going to do? You're going to jump up and down every time I get you something from a drugstore? Like, who cares? You know what I'm saying? So it changes and you're constantly having to reinvent yourself. And so there's always that constant, what do you mean I don't love you? And the other person's going, oh, they don't, whatever. So I just think that that's just part of, that's one of the things that's hard to do in a long-term relationship is to, get the person to see how you really feel about them, because the little things that you did before were mega magnified before you guys were together, but now not so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if I was a rose person or whatever, like, I fully believe, like, if I did the rose thing at the same frequency in which I did the milk ice cream Red Bull thing, I think they'd be looked upon as just as insignificant.
Well, I mean, yeah, because I know somebody else where they're a flower person, and they get the flowers, and the person is like, seriously, like, they got me roses again this year.
Right. Right. And then it's like, it's very rare for a person to have an entire song written for them and about them and it be a decent quality song. You've got like 3 or 4 of those things, and, you just now, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't happen to people, but it happens for you, but it's not that big of a deal. But again, like, I'm not gonna say I'm an artist or a musician, but I like art, I do those types of things, so that's who I am. So you're the most important person to me, so when I'm going to do art, that's going to come out in my art. Like, that's not something like I'm trying to do to, I didn't Google that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, but a lot of girls are like, oh my goodness, you wrote a song for me, blah, 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 blah. But you're like, oh yeah.
No, I get excited inside. I just don't, like, make a big... I don't know why.
Yeah, but when we talk about romance and things like that, the narrative is always that I'm not a very romantic person, and you never bring that stuff up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just what I mean. But what I'm saying is that's just what happens in relationships. Like, if we weren't together and then I wrote a rap song specifically about you and whatever, or I wrote a song about me killing folks or talking shit about you, you would have been like, whoa, my God, blah. Like, you would have made a giant scene about it. You know what I'm saying? But now, it's like, oh, that's not, I like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that big of a deal. So... But again, it happens on both sides. It happens in both ways in relationships. And that's one of the real keys to having a long-term relationship, is to being able to, A, reinvent yourself from within yourself, right? And then B, it would be, understanding where your original goalposts were, and then going back to being, recognizing those things as a love language of your partner, which, is not an easy thing to do, which is why relationships are, unless relationships are like an uphill climb, man. Like, unless you're actively working on improving, you're going to regress.
Yeah.
Is it it's because of the fickle nature of human beings. I mean, that's just how it is. You know what I mean? And you can't take that stuff personally. I think a lot of people would take it personally. Like, a lot of people, like, when you said I'm not romantic, like, a lot of dudes would take that personally. But I don't take that personally. I just go, I mean, she's been with you for, 3 or 4 years, bruh. So, like, what do you think she's gonna do? You think all the stuff that, like, she loved before is like gonna continue? People change, people grow, people get bored. You don't like, I went through one phase where I was eating pecan ice cream every day. And then after a while, I was like, all right, I've had enough. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. But anyway, it looks like he was trying to deal with the fact that she was gone somehow, and it's the whole acceptance stage of those things and how people deal with death. And maybe in real life it was just a breakup, and then he turned it into a death, which I've done, you know, artistically or whatever.
Yeah.
So who knows? What do you get the song?
I don't know. I guess for me, it's like, you know, I say that you're not romantic, but I don't do much romantic stuff in this relationship either. What?
No, you don't. So.
But I'm not going to go into that, I guess.
What
okay.
What point were you making?
I was going to make a point and I changed my mind.
Okay. All right. So what do you get the song?
9.7.
9.5, 9.574. I thought this was a good song. I thought the payoff was worth it, actually. I probably would have ranked it higher if I would have known, like, the full... There's only 5 songs on the record, but when one song is 20 minutes followed by a 10 or 11-minute song, then they're all pretty long songs, probably. But I think there's, like, a whole context that would have made song 5 massively impactful as a way to close off the record. I get the feeling that was probably one of the best ways to close off a record in a while.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's one of the things I wish I could divide myself into like 15 people. There's so many things I would be doing. All right, there you go, dear listener. Do what your will was at. Vin out.
Sori out.
Down.